We are live. It is Jimmy and Michelle, and we're here with Colorado Reality TV for the 200 miler, the individual 200 miler. And Jimmy is just going to spill some beans and just talk about how the last few weeks have been going because we missed last week due to the holiday. So, Jimmy, take it away.
Yeah, so no, everything's going great. I had an interesting run on Sunday. Went up to and ran, did an upgrade on the workout, I guess, for Sunday. Went up and ran Quandary Peak, which was wild. Everything above really like 11,500 foot was pretty snowy still, and a lot of post holing, a lot of suffering, a lot of high altitude workouts, so that was good. But
you know what works great for that, and I don't know if we've discussed this yet or not, but our ice bikes. You just screw them in your shoe. Icebikes.com. They're great even on dry trail. They're actually fine on pavement too. I actually even wear them for Run Rabbit Run, even on Fish Creek Falls. They actually have some great traction even on the flat-faced rocks, which really surprised me. Just because I wear a road shoe typically, so I can have the support and the cushion. So anyways, ice bikes maybe. Those might work for you next time.
so you just mentioned, so you usually wear road shoes even in your trail races?
Well, yeah, that's my secret trick. No, just kidding.
Okay.
It's actually because there isn't a trail company. Yeah, there isn't a trail company that has made a trail shoe that is as supportive as I need with at least that little bit of cushion, which I know now the cushion is probably, my hip issue. They probably really wanted some cushion, and I didn't realize that. So yeah, I always wore, I typically wore Saucony Mirages, so they're lightweight, but they gave me just enough support and cushion that I needed, but I could still feel the trail. It wasn't like they're like these huge monster cushion shoes that, you're 10 feet off the ground or something. But yeah, and then I just threw when I race, I just throw like 4 ice bikes, I'd say, up top, kind of in the shoe, up on the top part, unless it's like going to be a crazy muddy trail or snow, like you said. I'll throw a couple down below for traction too. Yeah, just because usually they're completely flat, slick bottom shoes that have no traction whatsoever. So anyways, yeah, that's kind of how I roll. I mean, I do like the Saucony Fairgrinds, and I have raced in those, but nothing's, well, super long distance for me, so that would be anything 50 miles or less, but I probably wouldn't even approach that now if I'm able to run again. So
Yeah. No, I still haven't. I'm still on the lookout for the elusive, perfect, great shoe for me. I've tried a lot of stuff, and I thought Hoka was kind of my go-to for a while, and then in my the Javelina last year, I found they were much more narrow than I thought they were on my feet. It really didn't start to run into issues until late in the race, but when like mile 50, mile 60, I started having some pretty severe blisters on the sides of my toe. And it was just they were too narrow. And now I'm trying ultras now, because I would have given somebody $1,000 for a pair of like wide toe box ultras at mile 60 in that race to kind of take all the pressure off my feet. But now I like, sometimes I feel like that wide toe box, I just feel sloppy and unstable. So I'm like just kind of trying to find that happy medium middle ground. I haven't done that yet. So,
well, I'd recommend, if there is a trail shoe that you think works, I've worn it. I've worn ice bikes with the trail shoes. The only place that does not allow them is Western states. And they may have changed that rule. But even the national events, like the National 100K Championships, any of those, they've all approved of them. So they feel sorry for us suckers that can't find trail shoes with support.
That's good to know. Anyway, I got off track. So the training, everything's going well. It's funny. I went to see Dr. Barnes this morning, at Barnes Chiropractic, and I told him when I walked in, I was like, yeah, I'm feeling great, not really sore. Honestly, when I was walking in, I was like, I felt like I was really going to blow him away because I felt like a supple acrobat, just felt really good, no soreness. I felt like I was really limber, and he walked in and just like just bing, just touched me, and it was like, ah. So I clearly was much more tight and wound up than I thought. But he was a big help today. Worked on the quads a little bit more, and had a lot of tightness there. I did get my what's that sport? The lacrosse ball. And I started working a little bit deeper into the hamstrings this morning, and I can tell. It's weird because when you get on it, maybe just my legs are weird, but when you kind of put it under your leg, I didn't feel like it was actually even. I felt like the ball wasn't big enough to actually put any pressure until I got it like way. I don't know why I'm demonstrating this, but until I got it like way up into like right under my glutes, and then I was like, oh, holy cow! Like that's brutal. So I definitely have
so a
some
good
more.
way to do that is either so softball is typically it's big enough, but it doesn't get deep enough and is in a small enough surface area. But with a lacrosse ball, what I typically do is kind of sit on a chair and then put it, and then try to kind of roll around and move myself around. That kind of gives it a little more oomph too.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. And yeah, so I'll definitely do that. But that I could tell that was helping a lot. But he was fantastic. Even though I wasn't really, and he made the point, at this point, your body's probably starting to adapt to the fact that you are going to have some tightness, and maybe your brain's, making that adjustment, and you aren't feeling it as clearly as you normally would. And I think he's right, because the moment he actually like started poking and prodding, that's when I realized like, oh yeah, they're still hurting, they're still sore, they're still tight. I'm gotten used to it, I guess. So, but I feel good. Injury free. Knock on wood. Aerobically feeling better. Actually, today I will say my run today, I felt like. It was a bad day for whatever reason. Aerobically didn't feel real good.
That's the thing is, with our workouts, I mean, and even in a race, you're not going to feel great the whole time. You're training yourself to adapt to fatigue and all this muscle strain and everything else. So you're going to have those bad days. But again, like putting the effort in, like what was today, like a tempo day or?
Yep.
Yeah, so those days typically are, you put the effort in, you give whatever you can, and it's still quality, it's still beneficial, and it's short. So you'll recover well, and then you'll be back on track, within the next day. And if by chance you aren't, and you have like 3 or 4 days in a row where you're just dragging butt, then we'll talk about it, and then we'll for sure give you some extra days off in there, and go from there.
Yeah, I think I guess one thing I'm not like a classic runner, but I ran enough to know that a lot of the times the day you don't feel like running, you don't feel good, and you feel real crappy, you get out there and everything just rolls and you feel great. And then sometimes you feel great and you get out there and you just it's not working. And today was just one of those days. It just didn't feel great. Aerobically, just felt like I didn't quite have it, but got through it. Feel good. No sore. Well, I mean, until Dr. Barnes touches me next time, I'll feel sore again. But no, he's been amazing. So, but overall, very happy.
Sorry. You'll release a lot of toxins too, obviously with seeing chiropractors and doing self-massage or anything like that. So it'll take your body a day to flush all those, nasties out. Take a hot Epsom salt bath tonight and stretch out really good. And if you add ginger particularly into your bath, that'll help detox you as well. And some peppermint on the bottom of your feet will actually cleanse the lymph system. Which can obviously accumulate a bunch of crap, especially colds and all that kind of stuff. So that will help keep you going as well.
it could be that simple. I mean, I actually didn't get my run in this morning because I was running late. So I actually ran after I went to see him. So I could have just been, kind of wonky from that. But,
Yep, totally. Yep.
and I think all that's going well. I'll tell you what's not going well.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Diet. And I think honestly a big part of it is the increased intensity.
You're hungry, right? That's what everybody says. You're more hungry, right?
I'm like, I just want to eat. I want to eat everything. I want to eat everything. And so it's kind of like when you have a dentist appointment coming up. You're, maybe not you, but I know myself and other people sometimes are like the 3 days before the dentist appointment. You're hyper vigilant about trying to clean your teeth. Like that's going to make a difference. In preparation for this conversation, I went to the grocery store today, and I did really well. I went through the list that you gave me, and I went to the grocery store and stocked up on some much more nutritious whole food stuff that I'm going to try to try to make a more like functional part of what I'm eating going forward, because I think like today could have been a part of that as well. Just I'm eating garbage.
Yep. And so just to touch base on that too, obviously you can treat yourself once in a while, but if you keep doing that, then your body isn't going to perform as well as you want it to. But to kind of combat that hunger and get what you need and still keep it nutritious, you'll go for the avocados, so the higher fat proteins that are still healthy. So avocados, nuts, seeds, nut butters. If you eat meat, then, or some organic lean meat, but it still ends up having fat, great. And then with your carbs, following kind of more of a paleo or a whole foods raw diet kind of based thing, you actually will want to have your whole grains more in the morning, and that will give you some energy, but still help your body realize how to utilize fat a little bit better, as you reduce those during the day, and then of course run in the morning.
I've done pretty well historically. I'm a pretty mindful eater. And when I say I've been eating garbage, like I'm probably better than the average. But the one thing I've got to kick is I eat the same thing for breakfast 6 days a week.
I do too, though.
Yeah, well, it's probably better than what I'm eating. And I'm embarrassed to say this, I go to a well-known national coffee chain 6 days a week and get an iced chai and an egg and cheddar sandwich. And the egg and cheddar sandwich is probably a decent way to start off the day, but I've got to kick that drink. It's basically a big, here's an old one. It's that. And it's all sugar.
And it shouldn't be that brand. It should be Coda Coffee, because Coda Coffee is one of our sponsors, and they are in Denver, and they are local, and they are a great company. So you should check them out. Maybe they have some healthier alternatives.
Yeah, and part of it is I used to travel for work, and these guys are like on every block, so it's just kind of nice to know I'm having the same thing. But now that I'm not doing that, I have no excuse, and I need to transition away, because it's basically like 24 ounces of sugar and ice, and I gotta get off that. And I'm trying.
And just to note, a little bit of caffeine and coffee beans are actually really healthy for you. It's just all the junk that's in there, like as you mentioned, the sugar and stuff. So if you're going to sweeten your coffee, you should sweeten it with honey. It's the only sweetener that you can fully metabolize, and it has vitamins and minerals. You can metabolize agave, and it's fine too, but it doesn't have as much vitamins and minerals in it as honey does. So it's kind of like, if you're going to use it, then you might as well get some extra vitamins and minerals, right?
Right. Yeah. And if I could just start making my own breakfast every morning, it would be better, and I'd save $5. But I'm on it. I've got a fridge full of groceries for the first time, and I'm going to try really hard to make sure they don't turn into a science experiment and I actually eat them. So
healthy omelets, egg beaters, eggs, whole eggs, veggies. It's good for you. A little bit of granola. You're good.
So I'm gonna, I will say, since the last time we talked, I think the last time I mentioned that I needed to do better with my recovery, and I'm
Mhm.
doing that. It's improved, probably not optimized, but better. So that's good. The running feels good, but I think if I'm gonna sustain the energy level I need to, and really probably what I'm doing is I'm jeopardizing the gains I could be making if I was dialed in on nutrition. I'd probably be making better gains. So I think that's right now kind of where I'm at, is trying to emotionally get over the fact that I may not get to have any more ice chais.
Honestly, I tell most of the clients, and even myself, like when I have a competition and stuff, I usually take that first few weeks or that first month to just kind of eat whatever I want and treat myself. As long as I got the workouts in, as long as I'm doing everything else, then at least like a month out from racing or two, then I dial in the nutrition, and that seems to kind of help. So you're there. You're motivated now, and you know that you only have, like, I think it's 43 days left, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Good.
So I'll get it. I will get it. The groceries are in the fridge. Now it's just a matter of me learning how to cook. I'll figure it
out. Awesome. So what else? Running's going good. Anything new?
Yeah, running's going well. No concerns there really that I can think of. No, everything feels good. Like I said, today was a little wonky. It could be a million reasons. Who knows? Well, one thing I guess I should mention. I did talk to Dr. Barnes about this a little bit. The one thing, I'm not sleeping well. I've got to get better. Things have been crazy and wild, but I've got to. And what's weird is I've got the time to sleep. Like last night, went to bed early. Didn't need to get up super early this morning, and woke up. Like, I usually don't set an alarm because I usually wake up pretty early anyway, but woke up about 2.5 hours earlier than I wanted to, and just couldn't fall back to sleep. So I've got to start. I think, I talked previously about trying to get back into yoga a little bit. I think that would probably help calm the monkey a little bit, but I've got to start sleeping better.
Yeah, and you know what? You're applying some intensity, obviously, to your body will kind of give your adrenal glands a wake up too. So they're probably just trying to adjust as well and balance themselves out. And taking care of yourself nutritionally will really help with all of that as well. So that seems to be the theory and the moral of the story today.
Yeah. No, I think if I can get the nutrition dialed, maybe not necessarily like optimized perfectly, but improved, and get like 1 more hour of sleep every night, I'd be feeling much better than I'm feeling right now. And I feel good. I don't feel bad. But I think that I would probably be making better gains if I could unlock those two puzzles right now.
Yeah. Sleeping is when your body recovers. So that's definitely something to focus on. But yeah. So anything else? You good?
That's all I got.
That's awesome. That's good. Me? My babysitter has to go, so I'm good.
Awesome.
Yeah, no, and if you have any questions, just obviously, as you know, shoot them my way, and keep up the good work, and of course, we'll be in touch, and we will let the rest of you know. Thanks,
all right.
Jimmy.
Sounds great. Thanks, Michelle.
Bye.